Hello, welcome to our show, Focus on Causes today, our special Mother's Day edition. Focus on Causes is brought to you by CFCI Foundation and TechSoup Connect of Illinois. You can find more about CFCI Foundation at focusoncauses.org. More about the show, and you can watch the show if you didn't catch it right now live on 21. You could also watch it on focusoncauses.com. All right, so I am Brooke Bennett, your host, and this is my lovely co-host, Lucretia Adams.
Hello.
Hello. So this is our Mother's Day edition. So the two of us are discussing organizations in the Chicago area that are women-led, women-founded, and focus on supporting women businesses.
Yes.
So we are very excited to let's talk about Mother's Day. First of all, happy Mother's Day to all you beautiful mothers.
Yes.
Lucretia here calls it Ladies' Day, which
Yes.
I love.
It's Ladies'
I'm not
Day.
A mother. I'm not a mother. I feel a
That's
little...
right. So you need to be in on the program too.
Okay.
All right.
So let's celebrate all women for Mother's Day. So mothers could be, there's so many different types of mothers, you know. I feel like a mother, even though I'm not. I had a dog for about 17 years, and that was my baby, so I felt like a mother. But we just want to honor all the women out there. If you are a mother, if you're not, please feel valued and celebrated. And let's get on with the show. Well, you know what? Do you have any Lucretia here is a mother, a grandmother, and a great grandmother. So she's like the ultimate mother. So you are the expert on Mother's Day.
Well, and I also say to any woman who's married,
Okay.
has a child.
Oh, uh-oh. I guess husbands can equate
Yes.
to children.
Yes. They ask for that type of care. Yes.
Well, do you have any plans, any special plans this year?
I don't know. My daughter has such a crazy work schedule. But one thing I would like to do is act like Mother's Day is a staycation.
Yeah, that's a good way
Stay
to
out of the
celebrate.
kitchen, stay out of the laundry, stay out of the kids' room, stay out of any place where there's work. That's a staycation to
I
me.
love it. Oh my gosh. You hear that? Staycation.
Staycation,
Mother,
yes.
Stay away from all
The work, that's
work.
exact, for a good 24
I
hours.
love it. I love it. Oh wow. Well, today I actually went and visited mothers and women incarcerated to uplift them for Mother's Day. You know, they're separated from their children. They're
Yes.
separated from their own mothers. And it was just a really beautiful experience. It was my first time ever in a prison. I didn't know what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised. It was a dormitory style,
Okay.
where the women were all together. Their beds are together. Their everything they do is together. They eat in the same room. They watch TV. They go to the bathroom. Everything is like in a dormitory, and it was really beautiful. We prayed together. We did poetry for them and gave them little bags of some gifts, just to small things. You can't bring much into the jail, so we gave them socks and towels, just basic necessities that they would need. But a lot of them were in tears by the end of our experience with them, and it was just really, it just filled me up for Mother's Day. Like I said, I'm not a mother, but I felt just really connected to them, to uplift them for Mother's Day. So that's how I started my Mother's Day. This Sunday, I'll be with my mother. We'll be going out to a show out in St. Charles. One of her friends is performing, doing a tribute to Satchmo, Louis Armstrong.
That should be fun.
So yeah, we'll be doing dinner and a show. So every year I like to do something with my mother to celebrate her. I'm the only child, and so Mother's Day is always on me. I gotta make sure she feels celebrated, because she should be. So let's get our show started. Our first organization that we want to highlight is Hustle Mommies. Hustle Mommies is an organization on the West Side. They're a nonprofit and brand and movement designed to empower urban inner city moms to be leaders in their homes and their communities. They're dedicated to helping urban inner city moms thrive by providing them resources that will help them become greater individuals and moms. I interacted with this organization at one of their events, and they really do a lot of hands-on work with mothers in the community, and really proud of the founder. Her name is Ariel Denny. She describes herself as a hustling mompreneur, and they aim to provide a foundation for women to come together and push one another to become better mothers and women through programs focused on 5 areas: emotional wellness, urban education, inner city gun violence, effective parenting, and career entrepreneurial development. So that's a lot. They cover a lot of bases. You know, they help women establish their businesses. They help mothers who are experiencing gun violence with their children. They help bury some children to ease the grief period of mothers. They do so much. Some of their programs include #EducateUs, an urban education initiative; Paint the Hood Orange, the gun violence awareness initiative is dedicated to curing hood trauma. So Paint the Hood Orange is something every summer they have every weekend, I think, during the summer. It's like June and July. They have these block parties.
Oh,
yeah.
I've had one of those in a mini moon.
And this goes on for 2 months, and
That's great.
Bring the community together. And they do this in different Chicago area communities, mostly on the south and west side. I think some north too. And this is throughout June and July. And they distribute food, diapers, wipes, any baby needs, gun violence prevention kits, awareness items, and a whole lot of other things. And it's just time for a community to share stories and build relationships, and it's really beautiful. So you can catch one this weekend. Go on their website, hustlemommies.org, and this is where you'll find all the information of all their events and programs and conferences. They also have a conference called Moms Mean Business. So they are really doing a lot in the community. So we wanted to highlight them and focus on them for Mother's Day, because they, the founder is a mother, a Black woman on the west side of Chicago, and they are doing great things in the community.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, our next.
Let me ask you before we go on.
Okay.
That's a plate full,
Yeah.
what they have.
Yeah.
And could they use volunteers? Do they have rules or regulations how to become a? Because I know there's some mother-hearted mothers, females out there, that this sounds like a good menu they'd like to be a part of.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes there are those of us who figure, well, I don't have a PhD, and I don't have a... But you can bring so much wisdom and knowledge, and your 2 hands and your 2 feet can go a long way.
And go to work, right?
Yes, yes. So,
I'm sure you can find out more on
Yes,
the website,
yes, yes.
hustlemommies.org, on how
Yes.
you can volunteer, how to be
Yes.
a part of their programs to help mothers in so many different ways.
absolutely.
it's really a great
that's
organization.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one, Black Village Foundation. This is founded by 2 women, ethnic women. Taronda Jones is some of you might be familiar with her. She was on the show Empire for a long time. She's a celebrity. She's a celebrity chef champion, actress, rapper, philanthropist. She's right here out of Auburn Gresham neighborhood. And her partner, Dr. Saba Abor, is a Palestinian woman. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist right here out of Chicago. So these are two wonderful women that put this organization together to incorporate wealth into Black communities by combating systemic racism and lifting communities of color up through financial rejuvenation. So this is such a wonderful organization. They believe they can break generational curses. Their mission is to build Black wealth by providing small business grants to propel budding entrepreneurs from economically divested communities in the south and west sides of Chicago. One of the biggest barriers to Black entrepreneurship stems from historically racist beliefs by financial institutions that these entrepreneurs are higher risk candidates for loans. They want to change that by providing more access to capital to Black-owned businesses in Chicago. So I am really proud to be highlighting this organization because that it's just so important to have that support focused on those that are normally, left out.
Not only left out, how can I use, for the lack of a better word, totally ignored.
Yeah.
It's not only that you're not here, you were never here.
Wow.
Okay, and it's like, if you looked at this paper, I see printing, but there's supposed to be powers that be see right through it. Because you don't exist in their world. You have no value.
Wow.
So, hats off to them.
That is sadly true.
I know.
Powerfully said. We should be having the founder, Taronda Jones, one of the founders, will be calling in a minute.
Oh, super.
To tell you personally, out of her mouth, what they're doing, how long they've been around, give you a little bit more information. But you can also find out more about them on blackvillagefoundation.org.
Great.
Like I said, this is woman-owned, women-led, women-founded, and they are doing so much. They've given a lot of grants already. I think up to $50,000. There's the beautiful Taronda Jones. You might recognize her from Empire. I love when celebrities use their platform to just cast a wider net and just do more than just be on TV. She's actually trying to make a difference out of the community that she's from. So I'm really excited that we'll be hearing from her in a minute. So we'll just keep talking until she calls in. But
one of the things I'd like to say is, besides being the culture that is looked over and pushed aside, wheezes, the female, we're only seen in the kitchen. You couldn't possibly know how to do anything else but work them pots and pans.
Wow.
And I think this is a good organization that if you got something swimming around in your head and you really haven't the foggiest idea, it appears as though this may be the place to know if you're making sense, if what you want to do will be of value. Because we all have dreams, but sometimes it's like the little fairy tale we read as kids. They're not taking you anywhere. So I'm glad to hear about that type of help, financial help, saying, yes, you can do it. That makes sense. That's needed, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of need. And fortunately, there are organizations like this that focus on the really needy, that have great ideas and great companies and just need that financial backing and support. And so this is really important work that they're doing. So I'm really excited about these two. I think these are perfect for Mother's Day, right? to focus on.
Well, let's look at it like this. Tomorrow is more or less the New Year's Eve of a new year, because there have got to be ladies out there that either one of these programs will be helpful to you. You may know of someone who at the moment is away from their family because they're in a penal institution.
Yeah.
But you may have heard something here that you'll say, oh, I think I'll share this, and maybe get together and find out what you have to do, and you go as a group, as a family, and visit and take love and take care and all the rest of that stuff that makes your day better.
Yeah.
It will certainly do the same thing for them.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, well, we are still waiting on Miss Taronda Jones. So we'll just keep talking. Maybe we'll okay, so if you haven't seen our show before, my lovely co-host here was a guest last week, and she gave us amazing etiquette tips. She worked for a foundation for a long time.
Yeah.
That the Etiquette Foundation.
Etiquette Foundation of Illinois.
Yes, yes. And so we decided to incorporate some of what her knowledge on etiquette. We decided to incorporate that into the show because, I mean, it's just a lost, I don't want to say art. It shouldn't be art. It should just be natural. But we just want to, we think, we're focusing on causes, right? And a lot of causes are led by people who are looking for funding. They are trying to make a difference, and they're just sometimes lacking that that part where etiquette comes into play, and it might help them, to get a grant. It might be the difference between why they didn't get one and someone else did, So we want to give tips on basic etiquette practices that could help you in a situation where you, if you're out volunteering, where I learned from her, someone is always watching.
Oh.
Don't even.
Oh.
Right. So, what do you have for us today? What tip can we?
I'll give you this tip. If some people like me born before sliced bread. When you were going to your bank, the line would form right in adjacent to the teller. They didn't have it going like this. And you would stand and you'd wait your turn.
Okay.
Well, in most of the banks, they would have a special teller for the commercial accounts, those that had a lot of counting and stuff to go.
Okay.
Well, there was a gentleman in front of me who decided he'd get in, the regular aisle because the commercial aisle was so crowded. Mm-hmm. So when his turn came, he just put all the stuff up here, and there was bags of this, and I could hear coins, and he had papers and stuff. But the young lady took care of him. Hello, Mr. So-and-so. Yes, sir, that'll take a moment if you don't mind waiting. I'm standing right behind him. He said to her, you took care of me with such fine and grace. When you're tired of this job, I got one for you.
Oh, okay.
She could have got an attitude. Mm-hmm. She could have told, you go back over there in the line where you belong. But because of her and the way she took care of him, mm-hmm. he saw something in her that he wanted to come and work for him. Wow. So when I say to you, you never know mm-hmm. who's watching you. Mm-hmm. Always outside of that little room where you brush your teeth, put on your best you.
Put on your best you.
Put on your best you.
Oh, I am getting word that Taronda's trying to call, but it's not ringing. So I'm so sorry that we missed the lovely Taronda Jones.
Well, we got a minute or two.
Okay.
So back to what we were saying. You're always on stage.
Always on stage. Yeah.
Remember that. Now, if you're sitting on the other side of the desk and your name is on that little wooden thing they have in the front, well, I guess it doesn't matter how you act. But when you're on this side of the desk and you're trying to get something, remember, you're always on stage. You know, my grandmother used to say something. Mama, how do I look? Do I look nice? I'm going, you'll be okay until you open your mouth. I used to wonder, what did she mean? Especially if I told her where I was going. Mm-hmm. She would let me know that I hadn't prepared for the real thing, what I had on. So I'll tell anyone, I'm going to ask you, what are you wearing? And again, I'm going to ask the question, what are you wearing? Can you answer that question? What are you wearing?
I don't know if this is a trick question.
And what are you wearing?
Okay.
I'll just make it short.
Right,
okay. You've gotten yourself all dressed up and ready to go. Mm-hmm. But this person, regardless of what you have on, this is the person they're going to meet. Okay. Did you take a kind person? Did you take an attitude? Which often people do.
Yeah.
And they think that it's not seen. Just as sure as you have on a $500 silk suit, they see this.
They see, that's true. Wow.
So make sure that what you're wearing is matched up with what you're wearing. So I'll ask you all the time, what do you take out your door each day?
What attitude am I wearing today? Mm-hmm. Wow, I love that. Well, since we couldn't get Tronda to tell you all about her organization, we're going to play a little video just so you can experience just a little bit of what they do and the impact they're making on the community. Here we go.
To many, school is daunting and disconnected from who they are. Doubting they can achieve their life goals, many teens give up, feeling they lack the necessary skills and confidence to believe success is within their grasp. Many are looking for guidance, identity, and independence. They are looking for purpose. There is a profound need for a connection to be established, empowering young men and women to take hold of the inherent value of who they are. One that says education and positive life choices are not impossible, but are in fact doorways to a great adventure. And it is our responsibility to come together to create a firm foundation for their success. All of us can be guiding lights to help young men and women springboard into the exciting lives that await them. The Success Foundation is partnering with schools and others to invest in teens, tomorrow's leaders.
I've pretty much been determined that I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do something with my life. I'm actually going to make a difference because I'll be the first generation college graduate.
Anybody can be successful. You just have to try, you have to want it, you have to change your attitude, you have to think positively, and that's how you're going to be successful in life.
The Success for Teens book is a terrific learning tool that tells the story of many who have walked in the reader's footsteps.
It actually gives you the steps that you use in your everyday life.
They're not hard principles to follow. They're just so easy to do and you don't really think about them, but when you actually read the book, you're like, I can actually do those things and it will help.
Utilizing the 8 to Great tools, this dynamic set of steps inspires students to strive for themselves. The Success Foundation. Here for the future of our children. The leaders of tomorrow.
Well, that was one of clips of Success for Teens, Successful Teens. That's one of CFCI's core foundations. They support the youth, young generation, and mothers. This is a lovely organization for you to get your children involved in. They have a lot of material to support teenagers through so many things outside of school. So please find out more at cfcifoundation.org. And that concludes our Mother's Day edition of Focus on Causes. Thank you for being with us
Good night.
today. Good night.